The Raiders absolutely need to turn this thing around right now, and Sunday against the Jaguars might be their best shot to get back on track after that brutal shutout in Kansas City. Listen, we know what needs to happen here, and the blueprint is already written after watching what the Rams did to Trevor Lawrence in Week 7. They got after him with 6 sacks and made him completely miserable in the pocket. That's exactly what our pass rush has to replicate, because when Lawrence gets comfortable, he'll pick apart any secondary in the league, but when you get pressure on him consistently, he starts making mistakes, and that's the window we need to exploit. The timing couldn't be better because Jacksonville just put their electric dual threat rookie Travis Hunter on injured reserve Friday morning, which is absolutely huge for us. Plus their standout receiver, Brian Thomas, has been limited in practice all week. This is the kind of opportunity you dream about when you're sitting at 2-5, desperately needing a win to keep any playoff hopes alive. Now here's where it gets really interesting on the offensive side, because we all know this unit has been struggling mightily, averaging just 14 points per game, and that Kansas City shutout was absolutely embarrassing. But when we can get Ashton Ginty rolling in the run game, everything else opens up. He's shown flashes of being a legitimate difference maker when the offensive line creates some holes for him. And even though Jacksonville has a stout run defense, we have to establish that ground game early and often because it sets up everything else we want to do. The key to all of this working is starting fast out of the gate. We cannot afford another slow start, especially at home in Allegiant Stadium, where we need to take advantage of our crowd and wash away that terrible taste from the Kansas City disaster. If we come out firing on both sides of the ball and build an early lead, it's going to create serious doubt in a Jacksonville team that's reeling after dropping 2 straight following their 4-1 start. They're vulnerable right now, and we have to pounce on that opportunity. Defensively, we absolutely cannot allow what happened against Kansas City to repeat itself. Those Chiefs dominated time of possession, holding the ball for over 42 minutes and scoring touchdowns on their first 4 drives with these long methodical marches down the field that completely gassed our defense. We have to get stops on early downs, force Lawrence into obvious passing situations where our pass rush can really pin their ears back and get after him. 3-and-outs are going to be critical to keeping our defense fresh and giving our offense more opportunities to build momentum. This game is so crucial for the Raiders because sitting at 2-5 every single game becomes a must-win situation. If you want to have any realistic shot at turning this season around, the AFC is tough this year, but the division is still within reach if we can string together some wins starting right now against a Jacksonville team that's showing cracks in their armor. The Jaguars came into this season with playoff expectations after how they finished last year, but they're struggling right now and dealing with significant injuries to key players. This is exactly the kind of game where a desperate Raiders team can make a statement and get back into the playoff conversation. The talent is there on this roster. We've just been so inconsistent, especially on offense, but if Ginty can get going and the offensive line can give him some running lanes, while the defense follows that Rams blueprint of harassing Lawrence all afternoon, we've got a real shot here. Time of possession is going to be absolutely massive in this one, because if we can sustain drives, keep Lawrence and that Jacksonville offense on the sideline and control the clock, we're going to be in great shape. Those long defensive stands where Kansas City just marched up and down the field for 6, 7, 8 minute drives cannot happen again, because it demoralizes the entire team and takes away opportunities for our offense to find any rhythm. The offensive line needs to step up in a major way, because everything starts there. If they can open holes for Ginty in the run game and keep pressure off whoever is taking snaps at quarterback, whether it's establishing play action or just giving time to find receivers downfield, that's how we move the ball and put points on the board. 14 points per game isn't going to cut it. We need to be in the mid-20s at minimum to have confidence we can win games in this league. Special teams cannot be overlooked either, because field position is going to matter tremendously in what should be a close game. We need to win the hidden yardage battle with good coverage units and smart return decisions. Flipping field position, even by 10 or 15 yards per possession, adds up over the course of a game and can be the difference between punting from their 40 or taking a field goal attempt. The defensive line has to be disruptive, not just the edge rushers, but the interior guys too. Because if we can collapse the pocket from the inside, while the edge rushers come around the outside, Lawrence is going to have nowhere to go. Interior pressure is so underrated, but it's what makes great pass rushes elite, because the quarterback can't step up into a clean pocket. This is where guys on our defensive front need to win their one-on-one matchups and make plays. Secondary-wise, we need to be sticky in coverage, because even with Hunter out and Thomas banged up, Jacksonville still has weapons. We cannot give up easy completions on short and intermediate routes. Make Lawrence hold the ball, make him go through progressions, and trust that our pass rush is going to get home if we can just cover for an extra second or two. That's the formula that worked for the Rams, and that's the formula we need to copy. Tackling is going to be fundamental, because the Jaguars offense is built on yards, after catch, and explosive plays. We have to wrap up, make sound tackles, and not let simple 5-yard completions turn into 15-yard gains. Missed tackles killed us against Kansas City, and we cannot afford that kind of sloppiness 2 weeks in a row. The coaches need to have this team ready to play with urgency from the opening kickoff, because 2 and 5 is a hole, but it's not insurmountable if we start winning games right now, starting with Jacksonville. Every game from here on out is essentially a playoff game, and the mentality has to match that desperation. This is a game the Raiders can absolutely win if they execute the game plan. Jacksonville is banged up, they are struggling right now. And coming into our building, where we need to protect home field and take advantage of playing in front of our fans, Raider Nation needs to show up loud and proud and give this team the energy boost they need to turn this season around. The offense has to be aggressive and take shots downfield when opportunities present themselves. We cannot be conservative and play scared. If we get one-on-one matchups outside, we have to trust our receivers to win those battles and give them chances to make plays. Conservative play calling is what leads to punts, and that's not going to help us when we're desperate for points. Establishing tempo on offense would be huge too, because if we can get into a rhythm, snap the ball quickly, and keep Jacksonville's defense on their heels, unable to substitute or get set properly, that could create confusion and open up big plays. Tempo offense has been effective all around the league this year, and we need to consider using it strategically. The turnover battle is going to be absolutely critical, because neither team can afford to give away possessions. With careless mistakes, if we can win the turnover battle even by one, that could easily be the difference in the game. Our defense needs to create opportunities, strip the ball out, go for interceptions. When Lawrence tries to force throws under pressure, offense has to protect the football and make smart decisions with it. Clock management in the fourth quarter could come into play, so the coaching staff needs to be sharp with timeouts and understanding situations. We've seen too many games lost because of poor clock management, and that cannot be a factor in this one. Every decision has to be calculated and smart, especially if it's a one-score game late. Coming out of halftime adjustments are huge, and that's where good coaching staffs separate themselves. If Jacksonville makes adjustments at halftime, our coaches need to counter, and vice versa. The chess match element of football is so important, and we need to win those strategic battles throughout the game. Names cited: Trevor Lawrence, Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas, Ashton Ginty. Summary: the Raiders face the Jaguars at home, desperately needing a win at 2 and 5. With the game plan, focusing on pressuring Trevor Lawrence like the Rams did with 6 sacks in Week 7, taking advantage of Jacksonville's injuries, including Travis Hunter on IR and Brian Thomas being limited, establishing the run game with rookie Ashton Ginty, starting fast to energize the home crowd and create doubt in a reeling Jacksonville team, and preventing long defensive drives that dominated the Kansas City shutout loss. subscribe to the channel, and smash that like button if you're ready to see the Raiders turn this season around starting Sunday. What do you think will be the key to victory against Jacksonville? Will it be our pass rush, getting to Trevor Lawrence or Ashton Ginty, breaking through their run defense, drop A for pass rush, or B for Ginty in the comments below.